Hey guys, how's it going today? My name is Tracy Lee, and you are at the Alternate Point of View, and I am so excited that you are here. Today, we are going to talk about something totally different than trials. This is crime, it is tragedy. You guys, we are going to talk about something that I have been watching on Netflix, and if you haven't seen it, I want to show you the portion of the trailer of what we're going to talk about. I don't know if you've seen any of my past videos, but I have talked about tragedy in South Korea, some things because I have been learning about my culture and heritage. And it's just intriguing because South Korea is still so young. We just celebrated Liberation Day, August 15th. Where we were free from Japanese rule in 1945. So South Korea is still young. It's only 80 years since South Korea is free from Japan. And so, it's not been that long, but yet South Korea is one of the most, if not the most advanced country for being such a small country. I mean, South Korea is literally the size of the state of Indiana. You can't believe it, right? And South Korea is also has the fastest Wi-Fi, fastest. It's one of the fastest paced countries, yet also has the lowest birth rate and the highest suicide rate in the world. So it's wild that for a country that's so fast moving and a country that is so, just grown so exponentially since its independence, that it would be so also holding itself back the way that it is. But how did South Korea get where it is, and what did it do? At what cost did it do these things? And I know that everybody is aware of the show Squid Games, right? I mean, I'm a fan. I watched Squid Games. I never missed an episode. It was one of my favorite shows. But where did they get the inspiration for such a show? Where did it come from? And with all of the movies and films and TV shows and everything that we watch, these didn't come out of thin air. This didn't come out of someone's just random imagination. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. These come from somewhere. And this show, Squid Games, came from something. And oddly enough, they always say that truth is stranger than fiction, and it's also probably more awful and disgusting. And it is. In South Korea, there was a place called Brothers Home in the 1970s and 80s, which really, if you think about it, seems like a lifetime away, but it really isn't a lifetime away. It's only 35 years ago. So no, it's not that long ago. It's still young. Korea is still young. Korea is only 80 years from independence. So let's talk about Brothers Home and what Brothers Home was and still is. It is a significant part of South Korean history and present, actually. And people are still here that have experienced and lived through what is called Korean Auschwitz. It was a camp. They call it an internment camp, but I mean, basically, it was a concentration camp. These people, these children, were forced laborers, and they were forced to do the unthinkable into things that were absolutely horrific. These weren't people who were vagrants, as they were called in South Korea. And it's kind of strange because history tends to repeat itself, as we say. And it looks like things are sort of leaning in that direction in a certain place we can call America, So it's kind of strange. It's kind of looking that way. It's really odd. So let's look at this portion of the trailer from Netflix and see what Brothers Home was like, because it's really, really strange that this happened and that people didn't learn from what was done to them by the Japanese. I mean, Koreans did it to themselves and to their own people, and they opened up what they called internment camps, or let's say not internment camps, but I mean actual little what do you call, homeless shelters, what have you. I don't know. They called it something nicer, but it wasn't nicer. It was very, very mean and ugly. So, yeah. Anyway, there's this show on Netflix called uh Stir of Echoes, and it is really, really worth the watch if you haven't seen it. It is looking at South Korea's dark, dark secrets. And I really want you guys to check it out, because if you haven't seen it, like I said, you got to check it out. So here is
an apology.
What apology?
Mr. Park In-gun was the director of Brothers Home.
There's no one here by that name.
Every single week, he'd say the same thing. You people are human garbage.
They took this kid and threw him down hard on the ground.
Did we deserve this? We've done nothing wrong.
Even after 40 years, those memories stay with you. I still carry them.
I'm not human.
tragedies that shook South Korea. So, I mean, you cannot, like, so there's more tragedies. So there's more. I mean, there's more in every country. But I just want to say that if you haven't seen some things, that if you've never seen this Brothers Home stuff, then you've got to see what happened at Brothers Home. So I want to show you some things. I want to show you some interviews from real life people that lived through Brothers Home, the actual video of some interviews from the AP that is on YouTube. You can go check it out. But I want to play for you how South Korea covered this up. And then I want to tell you about the history of Brothers Home, and that this happened. And the reason that this happened was kind of what's happening right now in our very own country here. Is the goal was to clean up the streets of South Korea, right? The whole idea was to make South Korea look good. South Korea just been through awful wars. It was dirty. They wanted to progress very quickly. They wanted to look good. They had the games coming, the Seoul Games. They had the Asian Games coming. They had the Olympics coming to Seoul. They wanted it to look good on the face of things, on the surface, right? So what better way to do this than to make South Korea look like they cared about their people and their country, and make it look beautiful, right? Make it look amazing. Like California did when China was coming to visit. What did they do? They cleaned up the streets and they made everything go away, right? That's what they did. And what happened? China came in and everything looked beautiful. What are we doing in DC? What's happening there? They're cleaning everything up, but where is all that going? Where is it going? At what cost does that get done? Where is that going? And is everything that's going away rightfully needing to go away. I'm just saying, because when you see the kind of people, the actual people that they cleaned up the streets, they didn't actually need to be taken anywhere. Most of the people that were taken to Brothers Home had homes. They had families. They were going to school. They were children that didn't need to go anywhere. They weren't vagrants, as they were called. So this real life Squid Games, these people actually were fighting for their lives. A lot of these kids, they were children, were taken and put into this place, this torture chamber. And they were forced to work in unlivable conditions. And some of them were not able to survive. Over 600 people actually didn't survive over this 20-year period. And some of them were forced and adopted overseas. And many of these people were done things to that were absolutely horrific. And you'll see this in the video that we play from the AP, because this is absolutely awful what happened to the people. And this is all to make South Korea look like a beautiful, progressive country.
The 1988 Seoul Olympics, South Korean police, in an effort to enhance the image of the country, were ordered to clean the streets of vagrants, the homeless, and the drunks. That often meant the disabled and children on the streets were removed as well. Some were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. By 1986, thousands of those children were detained in facilities like Brothers Home, part of a massive money-making operation partly based on slave labor. Internal records claim 513 people died there between 1975 and 1986. The real toll is unknown.
한번 누군가 하나는 달라 들고 하는 사람도 있다. 왜 이게 됐고 하냐 하면서. 근데 그 본보기도 하나의 축이 진짜 이 입에서 거품이 올라오죠. 그러다 보니까 우리 어린 나이에 우리 그런 걸 봤을 때는 그냥 공포스러운 거야.
Choi Seung-woo still weeps at the memory of what happened to him when he was just 14. A police officer accused him of stealing a piece of bread on the way home from school.
파주 성경이 문학하고 욕을 하고 이 새끼 거짓말하네 하더만은 바지를 내두고 거기에 나이타 담배 피우던 그 나이타를 가지고 뜨겁게 해가지고 고치에 내가 아직까지 나는 상처가 있거든요. 그 고문을 해서 너무 힘들어가지고 나는 훔쳤다라고 그렇게.
Choi said that after the torture, he falsely confessed in the hopes of being let go. Instead, he was sent to Brothers Home, where he says he was raped over and over.
그리고 소대장이 옷을 벗기고 성폭행을 하고 나는 거기에 또 항문까지 다 찢어지면서.
As many as 100 children lived in dorms like this one. Choi said when the doors were locked at 6 p.m., the violence by the guards was uncontrolled. Despite 2 previous investigations, no one, including the facility's owner, Park In-kyun, has ever been held accountable for the violence committed inside the compound. After a raid in 1987, Park served a short prison stint for embezzlement and other charges.
Okay, when they say short prison stint, this battle has gone on. Look at these kids. Look at all of these people. They're in the same type of uniform. This is very similar to the TV show Squid Games, and I do not want to undermine anything that they went through by the TV show. That obviously, like I said, anything that comes out of Hollywood or any type of entertainment industry, it is all because it is inspired, whether they want to say it or not, is literally inspired by something that actually happened. And what happens on these shows is entertainment, and it is nowhere near actual life. So these poor children, these people, these kids who had lives, who had families. If you watch the Stir of Echoes on Netflix, Echoes, the Echoes of South Korea. I'm so sorry, not Stir of Echoes. That's an actual movie. The Echoes of South Korea. You will see that these children, some of them were brother and sister, some of them were, separated from their family. All of them are separated from their families. A lot of the little girls were sent overseas to be adopted. They had families. Like that one child, he was taken when he was coming home from school, being accused of stealing bread. Bread. These weren't vagrants. There was an agreement with the Busan Police Department, one of the precincts in Busan, where this guy, this leader right here, it was like, yo, get me some kids, get me some people, bring them to me. They would kidnap them and literally load them up in the van, like you saw, and bring them to the brothers' home. And you can see it's built into the mountain. And they would bring the kids and supply him with a never-ending supply of people, free labor, and free subjects to do with what he wanted, to torture and basically BTK with whatever he wanted to do for years, from 1970 to 1989. And then this was in cahoots with the South Korean government. The South Korean government funded it on the supposedly, on the pretense that he was doing good for the country. That was what he said. It was a nonprofit. He was cleaning up the streets. He was giving the homeless a home, giving them jobs. On paper, it looked like he was paying them and giving them an education, giving them a skill. But the government knew he wasn't. They knew he wasn't. And all of these white people, by the way, that are around him and in that picture with him, these people, those people.
After a raid in 1987,
By the way, those are
inside the compound.
Part of
After a
the
raid in
Protestant.
1987, Park served
these people.
Investigations. No one in
those people are part of the Protestant, Christian, YMCA, Boys and Girls Clubs from overseas. All of those people are part of where they got the little girls to adopt for overseas, for France, Denmark, the United States, Australia. All of those are all part of Christian organizations where these children were utilized and brought to perform plays, used for adoption organizations. All of these, this is all part of a government conspiracy in South Korea, which is why the government did not go into this any further. So when you hear more about why the government would not settle or would not help these victims, these children, these that are now adults, that are still fighting, this is insane. It's absolutely insane.
As part of a protest, Han Jung-son made drawings depicting the horror of his captivity.
형제 복전 사건이 87년도에 터졌지만은 그 당시에 다시 경찰에 가갖고 이 사건 제대로 좀 수사해 달라고 말을 할 수 없는 게 그랬다간 또 다시 다른 곳에 잡혀갈 수 있다는 두려움이 있었겠죠.
The current government refuses to revisit the case, calling it a financial burden and saying the evidence is too old. An official from Seoul's Interior Ministry told the AP that the government, quote, can't make separate laws for every incident, and there have been so many incidents since the Korean War, end quote. As South Korea prepares for the Winter Olympics in 2018, former inmates are demanding a new investigation, as well as compensation and an official apology for their suffering. Luke Sheridan, The Associated Press.
So that is so sad, you guys, that that was in 2018 when that was made. So we're looking at what happened to these poor people at Brothers Home in South Korea. I am appalled. If you have not seen the Netflix series, there's so much detail to go into. But originally, Brothers Home was created, I want to say for good, but it was not created for good, you guys. It was not created for good at all. It was literally created for bringing in children and making money. It was created to make money. It was partnered with the South Korean government in the 1970s and 80s. It contained 20 factories and held thousands upon thousands of people. And it had homeless people, children, student protesters that opposed the government, which is why one of the main reasons the government was on board to fund money into into the hands of the guy who ran this Brothers Home, Park In-gwen's hands. And obviously, Park Chung-hee's military agenda was to cleanse society and bring the poverty and the disorderly off the streets and the cities of Seoul, Busan, Daegu, Daejeon, and Gwangju. He wanted to clean it up and get it ready for the world. He wanted to make South Korea one of the top countries in the world, in which South Korea became that. And as you can see, at the cost of all of these children, these thousands of people, South Korea was dirty. It was bad. It had come from the ashes of being at war so long and was going to hold the Olympics. So it couldn't look like it looked. So and the thing about South Korea and the thing about the Asian culture is all they want is an apology. If you watch the Netflix series, you'll see, yes, they want people to be held accountable, and they're even asking for things to be changed in the Korean government, but they're literally asking for an apology. That's all they're asking for, like, just apologize. And none of those people will even apologize. Like, what do we have to apologize for? What do you want us to apologize for? And they're just like, oh my God, for what you did, like, just apologize. But they won't even apologize. These were literally, they call this equivalent to Auschwitz in South Korea, that they did to their own people. The beatings and the torture that they did to these children that had families and parents. By the time some of these children got out, their parents were gone. Their families were gone. They gave up looking for their children. What they had done to these children was they drugged them, they gave them antipsychotics, they beat them senseless, they made them sit and stand in torturous positions for so long that some of them are disfigured. If the ones that lived, the ones that were abused in the most god-awful ways, were given nicknames. The boys were given terrible nicknames that was called Tong. Tong is the exit area. So it's not nice. I can't imagine what the TV show Squid Games has done to the survivors of Brothers Home. Not realizing that must be a horrific trigger for them, knowing how successful that show has been, and watching those suits, the tracksuits, and seeing people walk around South Korea in those tracksuits for Halloween. must be traumatizing. And then if you watch the show on Netflix, you'll see that even the producers and the interviewers had them wearing the tracksuits again for their interview, and even had one of the guys wearing the ropes around him while he was doing the interview, as if to take him back to the time that he was being held as a prisoner. It's awful. I don't really understand the concept of why you would take those poor people back to the most horrific time of their life and have them actually wear the suits with the numbers, have them take pictures of their numbers that they were when they were in Brother's home. But it's pretty insensitive, I believe. And to have a person sit there with a rope around their wrist and body while they're being interviewed and talk about the most awful things that were done to them when they were younger, and also talk about, you know, how they lost their brother to you know, self-harm because he couldn't take it anymore, is just absolutely awful. I just can't imagine. And I understand people talking about their trauma and the things that they've been through, but I can't imagine having to actually sit there bound talking about that. And then sitting in rooms that are set up similar to what you were in. It's just awful, 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 awful. Because it's still so fresh. It's only happened 35 years ago. I mean, it's just been since 1989 that place is closed, and those people are walking around the streets of South Korea. It's not like they're not running into them. That guy literally ran in to the leader of Brother's home on the streets one day. I mean, there's video of him running into him and being like, "Yo, you did these things to me." It's awful. And the fact that South Korea and the court system has just been like, whatever, we don't care. It's whatever. They're free to go. It's fine. And the South Korean government themselves is like, yeah, we're not going to waste any time and money on this. You know, it's sad. It's very, very sad. And there's not even any bills put into place, no legislation put into place, no nothing. And the South Korean government funded this facility. That not only did the South Korean government fund it, but other countries helped fund it by taking children from South Korea for adoption and human trafficking. It's really, really, really awful. And then to watch this show and see it on Netflix, and then to see Netflix not just capitalize on this documentary, but capitalize on Squid Games and capitalize on it's just kind of gross. It's kind of gross all the way around. So I'm hoping that for the sake of the victims that they get some sort of closure, the fact that their story is getting out there, that this happened in their country and that this happened to them, and that this is a disgusting side of South Korea. And I hope that even though they're probably never going to get that apology, that people are aware that these terrible, awful things happened, and that South Korea is beautiful, but that they paid the price for that beauty. And they paid the price for the Olympics to happen. They paid the price for the technology. They paid the price. I mean, it's on their backs that everything that South Korea is showing off is because of them, because they were taken away from their families, because they were doing the hard labor behind the scenes, because they were being beaten, because they were being destroyed, because they were losing their lives, because they were doing and having things done to them that were just absolutely horrific and awful, and because their families were suffering looking for their children, and because people turned a blind eye, and because people are still turning a blind eye. And I think it's really awful and disgusting. And I also think it's sad too, because they blame, unfortunately, they blame people who are Christians because they partnered with the wrong Christians, or people who claim to be Christians. Let me change that, for this program, and claimed they were helping people when they weren't. So I just wanted to share this horrific, tragic, disgusting story, because I am appalled by it. There are so many things that are happening in this world, but because it's so mirroring to what is happening right now in America, where we're cleaning up DC, cleaning up Chicago, cleaning up Detroit, which, granted, don't get me wrong, I'm all about law and order. I'm all about cleaning up the streets. I mean, I live in Austin, where, I mean, it's not pretty. We have a lot of things that are not pretty, but at what cost? And is it going to get to this point? Are we talking about that? Also, because I heard somewhere that they were talking about opening up the Japanese, and they call them internment camps from World War II here in America, to use them as what are we calling them, for illegal immigrants here in America. I just think that's really disgusting, and I think it's a slap in the face to what happened to actual people here, the Japanese, the Asians, during World War II. People who came here, paid their dues, and lost everything, and were treated like garbage. Opening those back up and doing what's happening here right now is absolutely awful. I think that's disgusting. And I think to say that you're putting in law and order, or putting that just title over it, or whatever is trying to be done, this is it's going to go this way. This is what I'm seeing. To say that you're trying to get rid of vagrants and clean up and make things look nice, that's the guise that you're using that will turn into something like Brothers Home. And I just feel like those kinds of things are going to happen, and it'll be all government funded. And yeah, that's what I'm concerned about. So real life Squid Games here is what happened in South Korea. And I don't want to downplay it, call it real life Squid Games. Actually, it's real life Auschwitz. Happened in Germany, and it's happened in South Korea, and it could actually happen. I mean, it happened. It happened. We had camps in America, and we're having them again. It's going to happen again under the guise of law and order. So check out the Netflix series if you haven't checked it out already, and pray for the families. Pray that they find the right people, and pray that South Korea learns their lesson. I mean, my God, after everything that happened to them from the Japanese, the Chinese, and then they treat their own people the very same way, if not worse. So let's just pray for each other, pray for everyone. And yeah, but I wanted to make sure I had those kids on this video to show that there's faces that belong with all of that. that there are real people, that this isn't a show. It's not a TV series that somebody wrote, and it's not like a entertainment. It's actually real, and we're heading in that direction again. And I think we can learn something from it, but we better pay attention because it's happening. Thanks you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And you guys, please do me a huge favor. If you haven't tried, please try. My dogs love, absolutely love, and my Clofus smells like Bernie's Best. My dog here's the bag right now. Oh my gosh, Neo's going nuts. He sang for them earlier. Bernie's Best, Charming Chompers, Dental Treats. Let me show you. You guys, these are so awesome. And I always say all the time that Neo's breath could end all wars because holy moly, his breath is so bad. But it actually could. But let me tell you, I got these. They're shaped like toothbrushes. Are they so cute or what? You guys go check out Bernie's Best. They have everything. They have Omega. They have Chompers, Dental Chews, which by the way actually work. Holy moly, they actually work. Because his breath smells better. Oh, he's sitting here right now. And they have hip and joint replacement supplements. They have Omega treats. They have flavors, fish, pork, and they are made in the USA, which, you know, I love and appreciate. So go to Bernie's Best, get your treats, get your supplements, get your Omega treats, and Neo here, who thinks they are awesome, is over here waiting for his teeth to be brushed with his dental charming chompers, and get your 20% discount when you head over and use Racy. See you later in the next video.